Hi everybody, it's Leigh White coming to you live this afternoon with a very special edition because every September it's always a reminder to me as a person that works with individuals and groups every single week. This is what I do, is talking with people, supporting people and guiding them along their way. Every September I'm always reminded that it's so important to be having these conversations. But what I know for a fact is a lot of people don't really feel it's okay to be asking big questions about other people's well-being. And I really felt very called to come on here and speak from a place of formal information and training, which is part of my story, and lived experience of loss, which is part of my story, and to give you the only reassurance I can about the steps that you can take to be doing all you can to support yourself and keep others safe. So thank you for joining me here today. That's what we're going to be talking about in the next few minutes. I just want to see if the technology is working. Make sure that you let me know if you're joining me here live. You've probably got your lockdown hair going on too. We're all looking a bit like wild mountain people at the moment. There's just no rules when you can't get a haircut because it's COVID and you're in lockdown. Why I am so called to, hi Julianne, it's lovely to have you here this afternoon. I felt so called to talk about the official Are You OK Day story because it is a really big part of my own journey and my family's journey. And I did have the fortune to meet Gavin Larkin that founded Are You OK, the global movement where everybody is encouraged to have those difficult conversations. And it's not about doing it on the 9th of September every year. It's about doing it every day. And I want to give you the tools that I can and speak from the place of being informed at a personal level and a formal level about what you can do and how you can make that difference, because there are actual frameworks, there are tried and tested ways to do it, and you can wing it a little bit, but I'll share with you what I have. Those of you that know me would know that when it comes to the journey I have lived, and what a lot of you would be living, is that knowing not everybody is going to show you signs that you can recognize that they're not doing okay. So when you have a feeling or a sense that you want to inquire about how they're going, you know, they might be talking to you or you haven't heard from them. For me, it's such a sign when somebody goes silent, that they're either carrying a lot of load or that they're not able to even text you hi. That sounds ridiculous, and for a long time I thought, how can someone not even just reply I'm okay or something like that? But the fact of the matter is, with different scenarios or symptoms, they can't, and that's okay, because we don't have to be perfect all the time. But what's so important is knowing that you're going to be contributing to more good than doing any harm by asking a person how they're doing, or if they feel like talking to you, or if anything has changed. These are the types of questions that you can just weave into a conversation. Has anything changed? Is everything okay? How are you? Honestly, some individuals that I'm really connected to, all they have to do to me is say, how are you? And I'll just completely lose it if I'm emotionally not doing okay. It's such a powerful conversation opener. And to be able to say to someone, you know, has anything changed? You know, are you looking for some assistance, or finding what's relevant to your specific situation. And what I've witnessed in my time, I remember a colleague talking to me about, she had accessed a free mental health first aid training program. Now, mental health first aid is something I'm a huge advocate of. And if you manage people, if you are a person that works with individuals in any form of supporting or training, if you're a teacher, level, the mental health first aid program is excellent, and it's designed to really help people know what to do to keep others safe. And this individual, this colleague of mine, had received some free training, and then quite interestingly, the following week, she received correspondence from someone that she knew professionally, telling her all about how their life was falling apart. And you know what? She knew what to do. She asked the hard questions straight away. Are you okay? Are you having suicidal thoughts? What's going on? And they were. They then shared all about their long history of depression and all of the things that made them very much at risk. And they were able to get referred. So the big message that I've got for you in my formal and lived experience, what I want to share with you is that the world has really changed from the time back in 2006 when I suddenly and very unexpectedly lost my brother by suicide, and that went on to lead to many, many things. But immediately, within days, I wanted to do something about that and stop people from feeling like that is the best path or choice for them. That's the only option for them, because nobody should feel like that is the only option. But coming from where I'm coming from, where I know a lot of the tools and there's a lot of resources out there for some individuals, it's in the statistics. It is their choice, and they do that. But what has changed is that the types of help available now are widely available. It's not being swept under the carpet. It's recognised as a form of illness, even though you can't see the symptoms. They are very internalised, and yet it's recognised as a form of being unwell. And so when there are people that might be from an older generation or a different, very myopic belief system, might discourage you from asking someone how they're doing. They might say, don't make a fuss. I'm saying, do make a fuss, do reach out with, from the greatest place of compassion, to connect with an individual and someone that you care about, or someone that you know. It can even just be a shopkeeper. It can be someone where you notice a difference or a really sustained symptom that doesn't look healthy for you, and there's no harm in asking, because the alternative, the extreme alternative, is a lot more harmful than you not asking. And really, what have you got to lose? So I want you to know that things have changed. Jeff Kennett and Beyond Blue did not exist when I lost my brother, and Headspace, the organisation in Australia, did not exist. And even the meditation app Headspace didn't exist. And the world really has changed. The conversation has changed. The openness, the community awareness, the workplace awareness, the acceptance that this is part of the journey, that some days are going to feel really bad for all individuals, and that it's time for a conversation maybe, and maybe just getting some strategies, getting a referral. The first port of call for a lot of people is, you might ask that difficult question, are you okay? Has something changed? How are you doing? Like, how are you doing? Often it can just be that. And, being guided by their responses. the way for you to show compassion to another is literally to be actively listening. Don't guess what they're going to say. Listen to what they're going to say. Ask another question and ask them how long they've been, experiencing this, and really just what we call holding that space for them, just being a good listener, is incredibly powerful to a person that's having a really difficult time. What does it cost you? Nothing. A little bit of your time. And it can really turn things around for a person, because people don't always show the signs that everything's not okay. And it's very much okay to be having a bad day. So what is really important for you is to not feel like it's unsafe to be having these conversations. It's really, really important. And to not listen to anyone that's saying to you, it's not safe to ask, talking about the worst outcome or suicide is not okay because it's going to lead to copycat deaths and whatever. The jury is completely out on that statistically. And it's more important to be creating more scaffolding in our community where people know about resources. And it all starts with just talking, to a free helpline or to your GP. General practitioners are doing what they do because they love helping people. They want to hear what you're struggling with so that they can get you back to, your better, healthier state of being. And all of that support is available to you. Sometimes it's good to talk to friends, but all too often you may not get the kind of support you need, because, forgive them, they don't have the training, and they mean well, I'm sure. But speaking to professionals is a really great idea. And if it doesn't appeal to you, the free helplines, which there's just no end to, free helplines and very specialized services like suicide callback service and others as well. So, it's really important for you to recognize how far things have come and how amazing our whole community and the consciousness of our community is nowadays, where it's not off the record. It's safe to have these conversations. And please, in the comments, share if you've ever had to overcome that internal resistance to ask someone, maybe someone you didn't even feel it was okay to ask, but you did it, and then what happened. I would love to hear that, and to hear about your own experience of navigating that pressure to look okay and feel okay and everything to be fine. And I just made a video on Instagram today about how even when we have all the tools, not every day is fantastic, and we all need to learn the tools and use them to keep ourselves back in the center and not feeling totally provoked and bumped around by all that life throws at us, or by conditions that we have a predisposition to, or our lifestyle and how it's sort of getting on top of us, and the things that we're saying yes to that we might not, really want to be saying yes to. So I encourage you to do a bit of a Google search on the mental health first aid training and see what is available to you. Have a really good look around the Are You OK Day website. There's lots of very specific tools for cultural groups, for community groups, for all sorts of different types of conversations that will be, a bit more tailored to the language and the style of that particular community group you want to be talking to. But don't sit back in the shadows feeling like I shouldn't bring it up. Do it. Ask the question, have those conversations, and you never know, you may just save a person's life. You'll certainly make their day by showing them a bit of compassion when they're having a really ordinary time. So yeah, Julie, it's maybe, message me definitely, because I was already a bereaved by suicide lived experience speaker of 10 years experience when I did the mental health first aid training. I was recommended it by another bereaved by suicide colleague that already is quite professional in her research around suicide bereavement, and she said, oh, you know, mental health first aid training would be just a good like icing on the cake. You don't have to go and do a psychology degree. And I did both the adult like standard version and then the youth version as well. And it was incredibly powerful to feel like you know what the appropriate time frames for different conditions and symptoms of different conditions are, and how to take care of yourself as a practitioner, how to have confidence in your way to support others. And yeah, just that's a really big part of it, and to know what to say. So I do encourage you to have a look at it, and there's many different ways that you can study it, and I hope that that will be, you know, useful just to be aware of or to add to your toolkit. And you know, when we are dealing with very uncomfortable situations in our community's lives, it could be someone at work, it could be someone in your community, or someone very close to you, just ask them. And don't be afraid to ask, are you thinking that life isn't worth living? Are you thinking that, oh, you don't want to be here anymore? Don't be afraid to ask that, because they may, you know, react strongly and no, don't be ridiculous, or that sort of thing. There's your answer. You've asked the question, what more can you do? And when you do get a yes, or they are really distressed by it, it's really important to let them know that, you know, they're okay and you're here with them, and reassure them, and to refer them. Get on a helpline together, or in their own time, or go to the GP, and you can support them in making that appointment. And you can also ask them to make a bit of a deal with you that if they are thinking of doing something silly or not helpful to themselves, that they will phone you first, and make a bit of a deal with them that, you know, letting them know that you care about them and wouldn't want anything unsafe to happen to them. It's really important. It's really, really, really important. And, you know, life is a blessing, and sometimes we forget how much of a blessing it is. It is powerful to have that opportunity to have that conversation with somebody. So I hope that this has been helpful, and let me know, you know, if you've got any questions, if you're watching the replay. And thanks for joining me this afternoon for this really important discussion, and really grounding into that choice of whether you're going to ask somebody, are you okay? Just taking that moment to ask them, and to do that with compassion. And I love you all, and I know that the people that tune into these live Q&As are soulful people who resonate with the preservation of life and seeing life as a blessing. So thanks for being here, and sending you all love and blessings very much. Bye for now.